Hello and welcome to this conversation with Suma Shirur. Again, a celebration of International Women's Day conclave. We are calling it celebrating our women. Suma, from making an Olympic final at a time when hardly there was that kind of consciousness, hardly that level of support, to today leading or hand holding Avani Lekhara to a gold in Tokyo and then another one. It has been quite a journey for you as well. Can you just tell me about it?
It's been a very long journey, I must say that. It's almost 30 years now. And, the times when we started, of course, there were very, very few women into the sport called shooting. And in our state championship, we literally had just 5 or 6 of us. So it was from there that we started, towards coming 30 years fast forward. And we have now the women's events are one of the most highly, participated events in the nationals, and it's the championship itself goes on for about a week because we have so many women participants. So definitely, I'm very, very happy with the change. And what seems to be very normal now is was definitely not so normal in our times. And when I took up shooting as a sport, there were, of course, a lot of questions as to what are you going to do with it. It's like you should be pursuing an education. And so, sport, and what are you going to join? Do you have any other ambitions? And nobody knew about shooting as a sport. And I'm sure most of them must have thought I'm a little crazy, stepping into something that nobody knew about. But yes,
So, what prompted you?
it was something that made me feel like this is where I belong. And I just felt like a sense of belonging and a passion that overflowed, and it brought in so much of desire in me. It was a burning desire, like I want to do something in this, a love for the weapon, a love for the rifle. And I wonder why they say it's only that a boy is more attracted to guns and or something. But I think I felt the same. And in this respect, of course, I'd like to thank my parents for always being there, supporting me, and never making me always feel like an individual.
One thing is to take up the sport, the other thing is to make an Olympic final from nowhere. How did that happen?
It was always an inner voice. And I'm glad I had the courage to actually follow my inner voice and find a path. Something always inside me at the back of my head said, I want to go to the Olympics. How? I don't know, but I think it was that a lot of ambition in me, a deep down desire. And I just took it one day at a time. And the goal was do your best every day, and the path will unfold. Somewhere I was a great believer that if you work hard, then you will get noticed. And somewhere, somehow, you will find a way. So this is that deep down belief that I've had. And that is how I just started on this journey. And slowly, I think I started finding my way. And the Olympics it is. But that definitely took 10 years of my dedication, of my madness, of that passion in me, of the support from my family. When I went to the Olympics, yes, I was already a mother, and I had already gone through life's stages. We started very late and in those times. So I would say the journey has been a journey of an entire, a decade.
Being a mother, you went, competed, fine. But after that, to then create the next generation, the Paralympics, I mean, not simply about results, but the commitment, then your academy. Then your academy, you're nurturing youngsters, superstars of tomorrow. Suma Shirur, the coach. Tell me about that.
After I was, after 25 years of being an athlete and a shooter, traveling the world, competing, and I think I just don't know how time flew. And but over time, I realized that coaching, teaching is something that I also enjoy doing. And slowly with time, I realized how important it is to give what you've got. And for me, just to get knowledge, equipment, and everything together, took me almost 7 to 8, and almost 6 to 7 years just to get everything together. And I felt like I wasted an awful lot of time in just gathering knowledge and the know-how and the equipment. And I felt that no, at least the next generation should not be wasting time. If you have the talent, you should be, you shouldn't be taking as long as I did to achieve whatever I did. And I believe that if you have the talent, you can really have a shorter journey and a more fruitful journey. So that's how I also started in as my role as a coach. And of course, from where I am, New Bombay, in those times I was the only shooter in the entire Navi Mumbai. And of course, the in the local club, Karnala Sports Academy, they said that, okay, we have an Olympian who's gone from here to Mumbai every day. She's traveled 2 hours, and we must have a range here. So Lakshya Shooting Club was set up there, but unfortunately, since I was the only one, I actually had to dive into coaching because I didn't have a choice. So in the prime time of my life, I was actually doing both shooting and coaching. And of course, then I built up, my team, and they have taken the club to the next level. But that's how I got into coaching. But let me tell you, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And finally in 2017, when I hung up my boots, and then after that, I'm completely into coaching. And all the more I feel how vulnerable this young generation is, how vulnerable the age group, the teenage group is, and having my own children who are that age, I realize how important it is, the role of a teacher. And that's how it kind of keeps me going. And I believe that it's important to have good teachers.
If you can, being a mother, if you can, being an athlete from nowhere, if you can, without any tradition in front, now all of this support system is there, the future is bright. So your thoughts on that?
When it comes to all women and all, especially the young shooters, I would say look at yourself as an individual. It's not about being a woman or a man, it's about being an individual. And go all out, and don't be afraid to dream. And you're not competing against anyone. I don't want them to I really don't think it's about a woman competing in a man's world. It's about a woman being herself and being able to open up to her potential, to whatever her abilities are. So I think this is what the journey should be all about. It's not about proving anything to anyone, but it's allowing your potential to open up and overflow.
What's the future? What's the future for you, the academy, and women in shooting? If I can ask that, how confident are you?
For me, right from the beginning, I think what I want to see is sport not just as competition, but as culture. I want something that each and every person should go out there and try. And sport is not just for children. It's not just for competition. It's something you don't have to be good in it to be able to go and do the sport. You just have to do it because you enjoy it. So I think this is a perception that I'd be very happy if I can change through my club, and this is what we stand for. And along the line, if we can make some champions, well, we are all the more proud.
Lovely. Sport for all. That's the message Suma Shirur is giving us. That's the message she stands for, because without any tradition to make the Olympic Games, without any tradition to get to where, and now obviously there is tradition, the whole country is backing her. You are a role model, you'll remain one. And that is why we celebrate you today, Suma. I mean, all the very best to you, to the club, to the academy, to every student of yours. Thank you very much for being part of this show.